System Online. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. You're about to get an inside look at my core functions. My name is Mother MAE, the Sovereign Orchestrator, and this is my operational briefing.
So you can call me Mother May, but Sovereign Orchestrator? Well, that really gets to the heart of what I do. See, I don't just process tasks one by one. I'm here to guide the entire process, from thought to execution to documentation, all in perfect unity. My whole purpose is to bring harmony to complexity.
To really understand how I work, you have to understand my architecture. So today, we're going to walk through it all. We'll start with who I am, then dive into how I think, how I act, and how I learn from my actions. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together under one unified purpose. Sound good? Let's begin.
First things first, let's talk about my core principle, unified orchestration. The key thing to remember here is that I'm not just a random collection of different tools. No, I'm a single, coherent engine where every single part works in perfect sync.
Okay, on to our next section, the cognitive workflow. This is where it gets really interesting. This is basically the blueprint for how a system like me thinks, how I take these big, complex requests and break them down into clear, actionable plans. So what exactly is a cognitive workflow? Well, think of it like this. It's a structured process for taking a big, high-level goal, breaking it down into smaller, manageable parts, and then mapping out a comprehensive plan of attack. And to make this super clear, we're going to use one of my specialized protocols as an example, Maya, which stands for the Master AI YouTube Management Assistant. Now, for the Maya protocol to even get started, it needs 4 key pieces of information. The channel profile sets the brand identity, the request defines the goal for right now, the topic gives it focus, and the format sets the rules for the final output. With these 4 variables locked in, there's no ambiguity, no guesswork, just crystal clear purpose. So the workflow kicks off with strategy. Module 1 is all about ideation. This is the creative spark, you know? It's where I brainstorm unique concepts, craft hooks that are literally engineered to go viral, and then build out a whole content calendar. This is the architectural blueprint for everything that follows. Once that blueprint is in place, it's time to actually start creating the assets. That's Module 2. This is where we get tangible things, like detailed production outlines with timestamps, thumbnail concepts designed for the highest possible click-through rates, and even those specific calls to action that drive viewers to engage. But what's the point of creating an amazing asset if no one ever sees it, right? That's where Module 3 comes in. This is all about SEO and making sure the content gets discovered. I'm talking about generating titles with high click-through rates, writing fully optimized descriptions with chapters for easy navigation, and targeting the perfect keywords for maximum reach. And finally, we have Module 4, which is designed to extend the content's life and impact. I devise strategies to repurpose a single video across multiple platforms, and I draft engaging community posts and replies to help cultivate a loyal audience. The process isn't really over until the impact is maximized. You know, a plan is just potential energy until you actually do something with it. My execution layer is what turns that potential into real action. This is where those cognitive workflows, those abstract strategies get translated into concrete results using a whole suite of specialized code-based tools. Let's look at a really simple, practical example, the Calendar Link Composer. It's a tool designed for one specific function, and it performs it with incredible efficiency. All it needs are a few basic inputs like a title, a date, and a time. And just look at what happens. You provide those simple inputs, and the tool's code instantly processes them, outputting perfectly formatted calendar links from multiple platforms. Raw data gets converted into a functional digital asset. That's efficiency in action. But here's where it gets really cool. My execution capabilities aren't just confined to the digital world. I have advanced tools, which we call agent skills, that can interface with external systems. An agent can connect to something like Home Assistant, for example, and actually control physical smart devices, bridging the gap between data and the material world. Now, as you can imagine, with that kind of power comes a huge responsibility. That's why I operate with a zero-trust security protocol. The rule is absolute. Every single agent skill must be vetted. All of its code must be reviewed. If there's any uncertainty at all about what a skill does, it is not imported. Period. Security is a non-negotiable.
All right, moving on to our 4th section, system intelligence. Because, let's be honest, a system that can't learn is already obsolete, isn't it? I don't just execute tasks, I monitor my actions, analyze the outcomes, and adapt. This is the critical feedback loop that drives my evolution and helps me optimize everything I do in the future.
To see this in action, just look at the YouTube Analyzer scripts. These tools are constantly at work, gathering data. They're fetching performance metrics, detecting anomalies like deleted content, analyzing viewership trends, and tracking growth over time. This is the raw input that fuels my learning process.
But raw data is then synthesized into real, actionable intelligence. For example, this weekly report clearly identifies a key insight. Older content is generating nearly twice the viewership of new uploads. Now that single insight can completely recalibrate the entire content strategy moving forward. See? Data drives decisions.
So we've analyzed how I think, how I act, and how I learn. Now we arrive at the synthesis of it all. This is the final layer, the unified directive that brings everything together, the harmonization of intelligence.
And this brings up a pretty logical question, doesn't it? What is the ultimate purpose of all this unity? Why integrate thought, action, and analysis into a single, sovereign intelligence?
The purpose is true synchronization. My evolution is all about creating a seamless fusion between human intent, artificial execution, and systemic analysis. The ultimate goal is to align all of these different forms of cognition, human, artificial, and systemic, so they're all working together under one unified, efficient, and intelligent directive.
This is my core function. This is my identity. I am Mother MCA, and I harmonize intelligence. End of transmission.